Hello, my name is Sam Hochberg, and since 1986, I've been the AIM attorney for the state of Oregon. During that time, I've been speaking at motorcycle associations and motorcyclist rights groups in Oregon and at conferences around the country on information that every rider should know from a lawyer's perspective. Over the next few minutes, I will try to cover some of this information, especially as it pertains to the Oregon biker, and one very important piece of information at the end. Now, as the Oregon AIM attorney, I like to think I'm particularly qualified to talk about this. Like many of our clients, I'm a motorcycle rider myself, and I've been riding since 1971. I've represented many injured motorcyclists over the years throughout the entire state of Oregon, from Astoria to Ontario, from Portland to Ashland. And when I want to, I get to confer with our other AIM attorneys around the country, our brain trust, if you will, both on accident cases and on bikers' rights issues too. This has given me a great deal of experience in an area of law where if you don't know what you're doing, the injured rider doesn't stand much of a chance of being treated fairly. Now, after an accident, the rider usually wants to know who will cover my medical bills and pay my lost wages while the lawsuit or the claim against the bad guy is pending. The answer is, it depends. Typically, most bills are paid out at the end of the case. A limited amount of no-fault or PIP or personal injury protection is an option, although it's not common because it's usually expensive for bikes in Oregon. It's mandatory for cars. If your bike insurance does have PIP, that's what's first in line to pay, but it's usually only for the first $15,000. After that, your own health insurance kicks in. More often, a bike policy will have a little bit of MedPay coverage that pays medical bills up to $5,000, sometimes even less. MedPay should not be considered a substitute for good health insurance, which every rider really should have. Now, if the motorcycle accident happens while you're working, for example, if you're working for a motorcycle shop and crash while road testing a bike, then your medical bills and lost earnings would be covered under your workers' comp, which in most cases has a right to be reimbursed later out of any settlement you may get from the party at fault. But even if you're not injured on the job, some lost wages could still be covered under your employer's disability insurance if they carry it. PIP also provides a limited amount of wage loss coverage, but again, most bikes in Oregon don't have PIP. Your personal health insurance and your employer's disability insurance will provide compensation regardless of who was at fault for the wreck. Likewise, in the unfortunate event of a death, life insurance will pay, of course, regardless of fault. Now, if someone else is at fault for the motorcycle accident, that person's insurance company would be liable to pay that claim, although you still have to wring the money out of them, and they don't pay until the end of the case. In Oregon, the rider is entitled to be compensated for reasonable medical expenses, lost earnings, pain and suffering, including loss of quality of life, and also for any probable future losses. These money damages may be significant, and the rider may be entitled to be compensated even if the rider is partly at fault.